Is it boss or bunk? J4. And y'all are kind of, you get a sense that there's some attraction there. Is it boss or bunk to ask her if you can hold her hand?
Hold her hand.
On the first day.
In the
Hold her
first
hand.
day,
The key word there is ask her.
I
yeah.
think okay.
Boss or bunk to ask her if you can hold her hand.
I think it's boss to ask because you always got to ask for consent. But for hand holding, like I don't know. I think when it comes to hand holding, I feel like that's a little bunk. But like for anything else, like it's boss to always ask for consent. Like always, always, always ask for consent.
You know, when Gene and I were contemplating these questions, unbeknownst to us, the word consent wasn't even in our vocabulary. At least it wasn't in mine.
That's right.
But
No,
but,
fact.
but that's important. That's a generational distinction, right? Because
Right.
and then in my mind, consent almost just fast forwarded to sexual consent, right? Now we had to get sexual consent, but to now your generation even associating it with more preliminary kind of stuff. Well, one, that means the education is very high, but this issue of sexual assault, harassment, and violence is very real, and the campaigns around educating young people are being tremendously effective.
Yeah, that's strong.
Yep, that's real strong.
I would
So
I would also say boss because I mean this is another thing where it's very situational, but normally like I would just say boss because like asking her like is she comfortable with this? You know what I'm saying? Maybe she might not be comfortable with it. Maybe she
Mhm.
has some past thing that she dealt with, and she don't want you to hold your hand. Don't hold my hand. Or maybe she just don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So I would just say making sure that she's comfortable with it. Then I will. I may not ask like, hey, can I hold your hand? Like we'd be cool if I go. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure she's cool with it. So
say it again. How would you say it? Can I hold you?
can I please hold your hand?
Can I hold your hand? Hey, Gene, I'm gonna let you close us out on this one, but let me jump in here. I think it's bunk to ask, but I can psychologically see how generationally that's different. Because when I was younger, and you kind of felt that vibe. To me, it was a boss move to just find the right opportunity and not to ask, but to just make it happen. Right? That's very patriarchal. That's maybe masculine, hyper masculinity, but to just kind of show that initiative, right, and to just kind of grab her hand and kind of get a feel for what the response is. Trust your instinct that you will be reciprocated in a positive kind of way, but it's just a way of sort of establishing that I dig you and I'm willing to kind of lead in some cases. But as you all talk, I maybe I would have to rethink that. But but imagine when she's writing in her diary or telling her story to her friend, and then he held my hand versus the other nuances, and then he asked me if I could hold his hand. It's this nuance, but I think it's bunk to ask.
It's bunk to ass, man. And I got a little bit different take. I think that organically you come to a point to where that can happen and does happen at times, but it's based off of your ability to, as a person, understand the chemistry, understand the flow of the evening, understand the space that you're in, and you know, you extend your hand, or there's almost an accidental touch, and then it just becomes
Yeah,
an organic, connect,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, oh,
I don't know about that. I don't know about.
yes sir,
It's
yes
more. It's
sir,
more of a brushing of
yes
the
sir,
hand.
It starts
yes
like
sir.
this.
Hey, look, if I gotta ask, I ain't doing it because if it happens, I feel that it was going to,
Yeah,
you know, that's your boy though,
yeah, it's very situational though. It's very situational. I think.
you're
You know
no
what I'm
right.
saying?
doubt,
How much do
no
you?
doubt.
How long you been talking to her before the date? You just
Yeah,
met.
yeah,
You
yeah, no doubt, no question. And
Yep.
and you can't and again, AJ's point, I cannot underscore enough that you all are living in a different time, a different era, where there's heightened sense of awareness about interaction, and absolutely, absolutely, is boss and your all's reality to ask that question to
Mm.
make sure it's cool. 100%.
100%. Beautiful young man. Man, you probably have already had your first date, but you're still in a time of innocence, man. You're still in the time of innocence. And date, man, date, get to know people, court, go through that emotional feeling of discovery and excitement and learning about someone, man. It's a beautiful thing. And take some time and to look a woman in her eye and discover her and understand, you know, kind of what her world is, and at the same time expect the same thing in return for you, because there's two parties in a relationship and both got to kind of, you know, it's nuanced, but both got to have a way of moving through it where they come out sort of mutually together if it progresses. It's a win-win, but it's a 50-50, 100-100 kind of situation. All right, beautiful man, we good?
Yes, sir.
I feel a part 2 coming on. I got a whole different branch I want to go into with this thing. That is definitely a part 2.
On that note, it's been previewed right here. We're going to have a boss or bump related to this first date world. But beautiful family, thank you for sticking with us. These are wonderful conversations. We're representing that 3-stripe life. If you like what you heard, subscribe, tell a friend, and even add a comment. But more importantly, use these kinds of conversations to dialogue with the beautiful young people in your life. It's been a wonderful thing for Gene and I to share this time with our sons. On that note, I'm AJ, your moderator. That's JB3, our graphic and video man. That's Elias J, our production manager. And that's the one and only visionary founder, Mr. Gene Boyd. Young y'all, take us out, bro.